Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really jumping into something huge. Artificial intelligence. I mean, think about it. Self-driving cars, personalized medicine, those really sophisticated chatbots, maybe like GPT-4, helping out everywhere. AI isn't just coming, it's here. It's deeply woven into our lives already. But all this power, well, it brings big responsibilities, right? So our mission in this deep dive is to look at how a really ancient ethical framework, Jewish law, halakhah, might help us navigate the tricky moral stuff with modern AI. And halakhah isn't some static old book. It's a living way of thinking, of arguing, of applying principles to new problems, the ones AI throws at us. So the big question for us, and for you listening, is, can these ancient ideas really help make sure AI is used for good, for human flourishing? Can they align with these timeless principles?
It's a fascinating question. And what's really interesting is how a core concept like tzelem Elohim, this idea that every single person is made in God's image, how that doesn't just, inform how we look at AI. It really forces us to think hard about how we even build these things. It emphasizes this incredible dignity, this infinite value in every person, no matter who they are or what they can do. That sets a really high bar. Think about it. If Jewish law traditionally has issues with creating, say, a golem, an artificial being lacking a soul or real free will, well, what does that say about AI that can perfectly mimic human feelings, or maybe even get close to consciousness? It pushes us way beyond just looking for bias. It makes us ask about the AI's very nature.
That's a really powerful way to frame it. Tzelem Elohim. It's not just value, but agency, right? Free will. But some people already feel AI, especially the kind of chats with you, is, well, kind of dehumanizing. Can you maybe unpack that a bit more? How does this ancient idea specifically warn us about AI chipping away at human dignity beyond just the obvious stuff like biased outcomes? Where's the line?
Right. That's a key point. And we've seen real examples where AI, maybe inadvertently, does erode that sense of tzelem Elohim. Think about facial recognition tech. Super useful for security, sure. But if it's flawed, if the data it learned from is biased, it can lead to false arrests. Someone could lose their freedom, their good name, just because an algorithm messed up. That's a direct hit on their dignity, their self-determination.
Wow.
Or think about algorithms deciding who gets a loan or even who gets an interview for a job. If they carry forward old biases based on race or gender, they're not just reflecting society's problems, they're locking them in. They're amplifying them. And Jewish law is really strong on individual freedom, on the right to define yourself. So those outcomes, they're a big problem from that perspective.
Okay, so the bias algorithm example really hits home. If our dignity is so central, then our autonomy, our privacy, they become like non-negotiable. How does Jewish law help us figure out where to draw those lines around our personal data? Especially when AI just seems to gobble up so much of it, it really puts data privacy, our right to control our own information, right under the spotlight.
Exactly. And this is where another key Jewish idea comes in, din Torah, which you could translate as divine justice or maybe righteous judgment. Jewish law cares immensely about fairness, impartiality, compassion, not just in the final decision, but in the whole process. It demands we consider everyone involved, weigh the evidence carefully, almost like a court needs unbiased witnesses and clear proof. So the question becomes, how do we build that kind of transparency, that explainability into AI systems? How can we audit an algorithm's judgment like we would a human judge's?
That's a really critical point. But I can hear someone saying, wait a minute. Isn't AI just holding up a mirror to the biases already in society? How does Din Torah push us beyond just seeing the bias to actually fixing it in the AI? Even if that means the AI has to challenge the way things are, especially in really sensitive areas like, say, healthcare or sentencing in court.
You've really nailed a crucial tension there. Because if the data itself is biased, maybe historically, certain groups were always denied loans. So the AI learns that pattern. The AI doesn't just learn the bias. It doubles down on it and makes it worse. It can perpetuate those systemic problems that Din Torah would absolutely condemn. So just reflecting a flawed reality isn't good enough. Justice demands we actively try to make things more fair. And that means, well, it means tough ethical safeguards. It means really thinking about who's building these systems, what data they're using, and being transparent about it all. We can't just accept the output. We have to question it.
Right. So we've talked about individual dignity, fairness, and decisions. But Din Torah, this idea of divine justice, is bigger than just individuals, isn't it? It's about society, too. And the huge part of society is, well, work. How we support ourselves. So what happens when AI starts to fundamentally change work itself? We're already seeing automation take over tasks, jobs disappearing in manufacturing, customer service.
And that brings us to the Jewish view of work, which is actually quite profound. It's not just about earning a living. Human value goes way beyond just economic output. There's this concept, tikkun olam, which means repairing the world. Tradition sees work as, well, almost sacred. It's a way we partner in making the world better. So if AI takes away human jobs, it's not just an economic issue. It raises deep questions about purpose. How do people find that sense of contribution, that meaning, that connection, if the traditional way of doing it through work changes so drastically?
So, if work is about tikkun olam, about our contribution, not just a paycheck, then job loss from AI isn't just an economic crisis. You're saying it's potentially a spiritual one, too. That completely changes how we have to approach things like social safety nets or retraining programs, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It means things like fair labor practices, making sure the benefits of AI are shared equitably, supporting people through the transition. These aren't just nice ideas. They become ethical necessities. Okay, so let's try and wrap this up a bit. What we've kind of unpacked in this deep dive is that when we think ethically about AI, we need to keep human dignity front and center, push for genuine fairness, and hold on to these core ethical principles. We asked if ancient wisdom could guide us, and it seems like the answer is a pretty strong yes.
Definitely. The power of these Jewish values, tzelem, Elohim, din Torah, tikkun olam, they offer a really robust framework. It's incredibly relevant for guiding how we develop and use AI. It's about making sure technology serves humanity, promotes dignity and justice instead of undermining them. It pushes us beyond asking just what AI can do to focusing on what it should do.
And we really hope that you, listening, keep thinking about this. Keep talking about this intersection of faith, ethics, and technology. Get involved in the conversation in shaping how AI evolves. We need everyone thinking about how to make sure it benefits all of us. So here's something to chew on. What does this all mean for you? How might these ancient ideas, dignity, justice, repairing the world, shape how you interact with AI? Maybe it's questioning the recommendations from your smart assistant through the lens of din Torah, or thinking about tzelem Elohim when you encounter AI in hiring or healthcare. What specific applications might make you pause? What questions does this deep dive spark for your own exploration?